Key to Love number 74. Remove and add. Hello and welcome to How to Love. Follow these weekly instructions and you will soon be on your way to manifesting deep and meaningful love into your life. So far, we have removed the one big block. Now, what's the one thing you want to add? Is it to be more vulnerable, to be taking risks, a better communicator? Is it love notes and texts? Making space and time for your lover? Is it speaking openly and honestly about what your needs are sexually? Is it being willing to ask your partner what they need sexually? Is it creating spiritual practices as part of your love relationship? Is it learning to put your partner first? Is it? It does not matter to me, but as I told you before, how to choose this one thing to add. You choose what is the scariest, what is the one thing that when you think about it would make you the most vulnerable, the most afraid, will make you squirm most in your seat. You have to find what your one thing is that you need to add to create the most amazing, phenomenal love relationship ever. And how do you do it? Is that we go through all of these categories, and it's the one thing that scares you the most. It's the one thing that's the most work. So when looking at it and we ask what do we need to remove, we ask what is the scariest. Is it to forgive someone? Is it the hardest thing in the world to forgive yourself? Is it the hardest thing in the world to let a resentment against a former lover go? Guess what? Then that's your one thing to remove. And we do the same principle when we look at this very last category and we say, okay, what's the scariest thing to add to a relationship? And that's your one thing. Hi, I'm Selina Stone, a Master Life Coach, and I will be presenting to you each week with a new key that opens the door to love. These wisdoms and teachings that I'm sharing with you were passed on to me by my mentor and teacher, David Essel, who has over 30 years experience and a high success rate amongst his clients. So, between now and our next session, I want you to go deep and really look at this question, and every day over the next 7 days following these 3 steps, this is what I want you to do. Step 1. Write down this question and think about it. What do we need to add? Is it communication, spirituality, sexuality? Is it divine union through contact? Is this your one thing that would freak you out? Some people do not like to be this open, this vulnerable to stare into their partner's eyes. They could feel very uncomfortable and could struggle with this and may not be ready. They may not be the right match for you. It was through David Essel where I first heard about the concept of divine union, which was passed on to him by Neil Donald Walsh. Some people may not want to learn this and never want to learn this and think it's not very important, and others may be very open to it. What I've found is that this is a very unique and different experience. However, the good news is that when people give it a shot, they fall in love with this. They fall in love with this concept of divine union by practicing with themselves and by practicing with their partner. Step 2. Visualization. Write the scenarios, the feelings it brings to mind, the triggers, the memories of the past. Then fast forward and jump into the future. What do you see? Describe these pictures you're seeing. Just write them all down. If you look at one of the other categories that we've covered today or in the last sessions, you may say, wait a minute, before I get into this staring of the eyes, I need to, whatever that need is, go there first and hold on to this. This could be the key to your success in the future. The thing you may end up adding is this. This may be the one thing to add. For others, it could be about honesty in a relationship. Like they have to go back to honesty. They are always afraid of not being approved, whether it's sexually or non-sexually. I have a hard time, I crave, I'm a codependent, so I just need to learn how to be honest in a relationship. Someone else might say communication. You know, I never speak about my feelings. No one and everyone who I've ever dated has always said, we do not know where you stand. Maybe that's your one thing. It could be that. Maybe for someone else it's developing a spiritual relationship. This could be their one thing. From this quote on quote, adding to your relationship. Someone else might say it's sex. It might be, I'm so bored of all my past relationships. Sex is the same. There is not enough foreplay. I never give enough foreplay. For someone else it might be, I never reach orgasm, and the list goes on and on. Step 3, repetition. Write and rewrite your answers. Look at this question every day over the next week. What does this statement mean to you? What is its meaning in your life? What do you need to remove and what do you need to add? This is how we work this program with the one thing. The one thing creates the most anxiety, the most vulnerability, the most risk. It's the thing that will give you the greatest reward in life and in love. If you play around with baby steps, you're not going to get back as much. With the baby step effort, that will be the size of your reward. But if you really want the deepest of love relationships, I'm going to ask you to risk. I'm going to ask you to do the uncomfortable. You know that with the whole world of personal growth has come to these days, and let me tell you this. You would never have signed up for this course if your soul was not ready to do this work. If your soul was not ready to take these risks, whatever the biggest risk means to you. If you come down to it, it's between 2 and 3 different things that you want to add to the relationship as your one thing, and you get confused as to your one thing to add to deepen a relationship, then let me know. This is what it's come down to, and I do not know which is the biggest one, and I will communicate with you and help you pick out the scariest and the biggest one. It is about that fear, it's about risk taking to deepen love, but if you take baby steps, as a lot of people do, and another baby step, and oh my God, before you know it, you've not moved anywhere and it all falls apart. Do not let this happen to you. Risk. Let me know if you need extra help here, but most of us know. Ask a good friend, a family member, someone that really knows you well. Go ahead and listen. Ask a friend and say, I'm just finishing this course and I'm being asked to choose one thing that would make me take a big risk, that when I get into my next relationship would really make it a phenomenal one, or the current one that I'm in right now will make it the best relationship I've ever had in my own life. And it's between these 2 or 3 things. What do you think it is? Your good friends will be able to tell you straight away, oh my God, you always complain about the fact that you never get your needs met inside the bedroom, or you're afraid to talk about sex, and then you go, there it is, communication about sex. Asking my partner, what can I do differently for him? Now, that's a scary thought, right? Maybe that's it. So as your final action step, write down what is the one thing that you need to do to manifest, nurture, deepen a phenomenal love relationship. You know what it is right now. We've gone through a ton of highly specific things, and I want you to rock with this. And by the end of it, remember, at first, we need to take away that one thing that is holding us back. When we let go of the block, we can begin to take necessary steps to move forward and create the love that we desire by adding that thing that will bring us that greatest, deepest love. It might be a little scary at first. I know if you follow this course and if you go back and do any of the work that isn't completed yet, you will be blown away at what you're going to find. You will create divine union. You will manifest a partner who is on the same wavelength as you, and you will let go of all the bad boys. That's the type of relationship that has not worked for you. You will go of all the women that quote unquote use you. You will let go of all that stuff, that you will open your heart to create the energy, the pathway that is needed to be open, to attract that perfect person for you. Remember, I do not believe in perfect soulmates and all that kind of nonsense, but I do believe in creating, in doing the work that's going to help you resonate the law of attraction, to attract you to an amazing, deep, phenomenal love relationship. My only goal is for you to accomplish that goal, and I know you can. This is the love of your life, and get ready for that phenomenal love relationship that you have always wanted. Well, that's all we have time for today. I look forward to your tuning in again next week. In the meantime, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and you'll be notified when the next session is aired. Together, we can stay on track to creating a deep and meaningful love into your life, and that's the reason I'm here. And if you feel you'd like me to personally coach you, inspire and motivate, then please feel free to contact me via my website, selinastone.com. Until next week, as always, be lucky.